All right, so today we are diving into a really powerful book by Jeff Keller called Attitude is Everything. And its main idea? It's actually super simple, but it's a total game changer. You can literally change your entire life just by changing your mind.
And this quote from William James just sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? The whole idea that we can change our lives by changing our attitude, that's the central theme here. It's about shifting our focus from trying to change our circumstances to, instead, changing ourselves first.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. The author, Jeff Keller, he lived this. On the outside, he had it all, a law career he dreamed of since he was a kid. But on the inside, he was completely miserable. He found the work boring, tedious, and just totally draining.
I mean, this was his absolute rock-bottom moment. He was burned out, he was in pain, physically and emotionally, and he felt completely lost. It was one of those moments of pure desperation that, as we're about to see, actually became the biggest turning point of his life.
And help came from, you're not going to believe this, a late-night TV infomercial. The message of this program just hit him like a ton of bricks. Our subconscious beliefs create our reality. He felt so desperate he just went for it and ordered the program. And that single decision, it changed everything. So, Keller's journey, and really the book itself, is built around a few core ideas. We're going to start with how success begins in your mind. Then we'll get into why you have to watch your words. And from there, we'll see how that all leads to taking real, decisive action, which becomes your passport to a whole new future.
Okay, let's kick it off with part 1. Success begins in the mind. This is all about that internal foundation, what Keller calls your window to the world. It's a brilliant metaphor.
So here's the idea. Your attitude is like a window that you view the entire world through. And when we're born, we all start with a perfectly clean window. I mean, just think about little kids, right? They are naturally optimistic, they're fearless. But over time, life starts throwing dirt on that window. And this story illustrates it perfectly. Imagine two people, Sarah and Sam, who go to the exact same coffee shop. Same waitress, same food, same wait time. But Sarah, looking through her clean, positive window, has an amazing lunch. Meanwhile, Sam, with his dirty, negative window, leaves angry and frustrated. The circumstances were identical. The only difference was their attitude.
So where does all this dirt come from? Well, it's the stuff we all go through, right? It's criticism from parents or teachers, getting made fun of by our peers, rejection, disappointments, self-doubt. All that stuff just builds up over time and can totally cloud our view of the world.
But here's the crucial part, and it's stated so powerfully by Dr. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi death camps. He said that even in the most horrible circumstances you can imagine, we still have the freedom to choose our attitude. We can always clean our own window. And this all leads to a core principle in the book, the law of dominant thought. It's pretty simple. We're basically human magnets. Whatever we consistently think about, our dominant thoughts, is what we attract into our lives. We are literally propelled in that direction. We become what we think about most of the time.
Okay, so let's move to that second pillar and see how this all connects. It's time to watch your words. This is where those internal thoughts start to come out into the world and get real power.
It creates this really powerful chain reaction. See, it all starts with our thoughts. Then, we give those thoughts power with our words, and those words start to cement our beliefs. And our beliefs, well, they're what drive our actions. And in the end, our actions are what create our results. It's a clear domino effect, from a simple thought all the way to your reality. Just think about a super simple, everyday example. Someone asks, "How are you?" If you give a negative answer, like lousy, you're actually poisoning your own mood. If you give a mediocre one, like I'm okay, you just kind of drain your own energy. But a positive, terrific, that actually energizes you and the person you're talking to. That tiny choice of words programs the entire interaction. So the key takeaway here, as Tony Robbins puts it, is that the words we use every single day aren't just sounds. They are literally the building blocks of our destiny. And a huge part of watching our words is just cutting out the habit of complaining. Why? Because it does absolutely nothing for you. Nobody wants to hear it. It just makes you feel worse. And most importantly, it stops you from actually doing something to fix the situation. Which brings us to the final, and I think the most important pillar. Take decisive action. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's about turning all those positive thoughts and words into real, tangible results. The book talks about this idea of a comfort zone. Everything that's familiar and safe is inside that circle. But all of our growth, all of our real potential is on the outside.
And what's standing in the way? Fear. To grow, you absolutely have to be willing to get uncomfortable. I mean, just look at the story of the famous TV host Sally Jessy Raphael. Before she finally got her big break, she had been struggling in the industry for 26 years.
And during that time, she was fired 18 times. Think about that for a second. Most people would have given up after the second or third time. But her absolute refusal to give up, her willingness to step outside her comfort zone again and again, that's what led to her success.
This is such a powerful way to reframe what failure even is. It's not the end. Like Henry Ford said, it's just a chance to start over. But this time, you're smarter because of what you learned.
And this brings us right back full circle to the author Jeff Keller. 13 years after that awful night in his den, there he is, standing on a stage in the Philippines, living proof that these principles work. He changed his thoughts, he changed his words, and he took massive, uncomfortable action. So let's wrap this all up with this incredible summary from Charles Swindoll. He says life is only about 10% what happens to us. The other 90%, that's entirely about how we choose to react to it. The most important point is we are in charge of our attitudes.
At the end of the day, every single one of us is in charge of our own attitude. We all have that 90%. So the only real question left is, what do you want to do with yours?